Hey everybody, I'm Alchemy. We're gonna throw a beat together. I spent about 45 minutes putting all these sounds together from scratch, and we're just gonna have some fun. If you have any questions, feel free. I stream on YouTube at youtube.com/alchemy, and a lot of these, actually all of these sounds I've made by myself and made changes to them and all the things of the sort. So we got some percussion going on. We've got some melody stuff. We've got a bass going on. We've got some big old drums. And I think that we have everything that we need to get started. But am I live? Hang on, we're telling more followers to join your video. Oh, okay. I guess we're live. So let's go ahead and start with some percussion. That actually sounds really cool. Not what we're looking for though. So that came together pretty quickly, and now we can kind of play with some different kinds of effects on here, and then we can kind of sketch out a quick arrangement and stuff, and play with some other things. That was pretty easy though, so what we want to do now is just see if we can find some other kind of interesting effect or something. Set up. Alright, sick. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy the sequence from sequence 1 to sequence 2. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change up the drums to just give it a little bit of variation. So what we can do is go back to main, and then we can go clear, erase, all, track 3, do it. And then we'll record some new drums over this. I did the wrong one. Undo that because I accidentally had the quantize on to where it moves everything on time, so I wanted it to be off. And then we'll try that one more time. And now what we want to do is maybe add some other kind of percussion onto that second one. Okay. That we'll find something else to add. We can go in here and edit the sample. Snoop! No, I'm just kidding. Alright, so now what we can do is maybe we can find some kind of pad that has, or maybe we could just make one, I guess. Hi, honey. That will be, well, let me make sure that I'm doing the right thing. Plugin 1, plugin 2, new plugin. And we'll use operator send for this. And then I'll try to quickly design this. You're not going to be able to see what I'm doing, but just for funsies, we can go in here and go to initialize. It should be just, turn this up. So we'll go into envelope 1, raise the attack. That's close. So I'm just going to record that because that'll be the easiest to manipulate, so that way I don't have to think about recording that again. So let's just go ahead and do that. I'm going to solo this. Hey MX, what's good? Big waves to everybody. Then we can just go to, wait, I messed that up. Let me do that one more time. So now that I have that, I can just play this, and then I can start to mess with the sound and make that more interesting on the side. And so what we want to do is maybe add in just a little bit of FM on this. And it doesn't need to be anything complicated, but once we start doing that, you'll see how the sound changes into something else. Alright, that's pretty cool. I think we can just add a filter and some reverb on that, and that should be fine. So pretty cool. So now let's go ahead and add, we're going to turn this down just a little bit, and then we'll add some reverb onto it, onto the global. Maybe some spring delay, or spring verb. And then one other thing we need to do is we need to sidechain this to the original, or to the first drum group. So that's pretty easy to do. I can just pull up this preset here and go to MPC Documents, go to Effects, Presets. All right, well, that didn't work, so we'll just do it from scratch. I don't know why that didn't pop up, but whatever. We'll just set this up quickly. High ratio, turn that down, turn the auto gain off. And so now this is just a different section that we have. Now obviously this is a little bit out of time, so I'm going to grab all this and kind of just nudge it, because I like to play things early. Hey, what up, Steve? So we'll do that. The MPC is one of my favorite things to just sketch with. The sound design takes a lot longer in this, but it's a lot more fun to do because it kind of puts you at a disadvantage. So this was the first, I guess, idea that we sketched. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. And now all we have to do is kind of just break the pieces up and create an arrangement with that. So what I might do is I might grab a new sequence and then, or actually copy sequence 2 to sequence 3 and then just take that. But I'm not quite happy with our pad that we made yet, so I'm gonna see if I can maybe solo this and continue working on it to make it a little bit more interesting. Hold on one second. So let's try some phasing. And then what I also want to do is go back into this and edit the filter on this. Just to make it a little bit softer. Maybe one more thing that I can do as well is I can make it a little bit more detuned. Hey, Grant. And I can do that just by coming into here and going 1.5, like that, do it. And I can come into this one and go -1.5. So that way they're detuned equally. Maybe we can try 3. Oh, that's a lot. Holy cow. Do it. Let's try that. That's really cool. The dry, wet, and wet. Did it start raining? So that was actually on the oscillator. Also, I want to ask this for a while and just remembered. Yeah, so that was actually on, that effect that I used was the detuning of the oscillators, so that's why it kind of gave that effect. It was an effect from the oscillators, but you can kind of like adjust how much that is. So if it's too much, then you can back off of the detuning a bit, but it's not like it's not a send effect or something like that that you put as an insert. And snare, or how do you position what's in between? So if I were to do like a new beat from scratch, which I'm not going to per se, But what I typically do is I start with the percussion. And the reason why is because if you start with the percussion, then you can kind of like figure out where to place your kicks and snares. So, hold on one second. Now keep in mind that like in a measure of a bar, it's always going to repeat, right? Or 2 bars or 3 bars or 4 bars. And so like try to stick to maybe 2 bars at a time and then you can branch off. But if you focus on the aspect of doing everything off time, knowing that it's going to repeat, then that will kind of help you figure out the rest of the groove. So instead of thinking about it with a kick snare pattern, think about it with your percussion and then place your kick snares over that. So hold on one second. Let me make sure that nothing is going to play. Okay. So the only thing that I quantize is the musical stuff, because if you don't quantize anything, it's actually really hard to make something cohesive. But if you make the beat and then you quantize that and then make that late, then that can help like accentuate the groove. And this is also me like figuring out how to use this better too, right? So it's not necessarily, I'm still learning. So, but with this, okay, so let me turn this off and then we'll do the same thing. So, let me just kind of play with this for a second, turn the metronome on. And that's also something that helps a lot too, is like listening to this and playing time. And like I naturally have a tendency to want to play things early, so sometimes that can actually be beneficial. Okay, got it. Now what I'll do is we'll just record that, right? So So now let me record that. But you see how that influenced like how I came up with the beat. And to me it sounds good as I listen to it, because like I'm trying to put myself in the zone. To you it might sound super off time and like garbage, but that's kind of, you know, that's kind of the whole point of making music live, is to be imperfect and to have fun like that. But yeah, if we were to just kind of put all that together. So that's how you can kind of like construct like those swingy beats. And like part of it is also just a lot of practice. Like I pull up an 808 kit pretty often and just practice doing that, because sometimes like there's no other way to like swing it, no pun intended. But if you just pull up like a different beat or something, or some kind of drum kit, it could be anything. Hold on one second. It could just be through content, drums, and then we can literally find anything on here, right? Actually, hold on, I saw. Okay. This is just I actually made a beat with this not too long ago, but it was just like a stock kit, but... And so what you do is you really just like sit down and put the metronome on. So that's like a swingy beat or whatever, right? But and you just jam. And like even that, like, this seems so like simple, but getting that second double kick, that was so hard for me to pick up. And then when you actually put it into a beat, so like, that's, you know, and of course, like, I messed up and whatever, but like, you don't have to have a perfect 2-minute take or something. That's the beautiful thing about working with loops, is that you only need one good take and then you can put it on repeat. So I try to aim for 4 bars, and that way, like, it gives me a little bit of both. So that way I can practice like getting the right groove in and keeping time a little bit longer. And then I also have enough time to variate it and make it not just like, because that way it's like, you know what I mean? If it's just the same pattern over and over again, it gets really uninteresting. But it doesn't have to be so different that, you know, that you have a new thing on every bar. What kind of MPC do you have? Fuck. Yeah, that's really hard to keep. An MPC 226. So I made some sick stuff like this like 2 years ago on mine, and then it just collected dust. Well, I mean, I'm not trying to make like the most serious music on this. I'm doing it just to make beats. And then it's also really fun to just do on Instagram or on YouTube or whatever. I thought about actually linking this up so that way you got direct stuff, but I can't talk to you if this is plugged in. So I decided to just go with an external thing, so hopefully the sound quality isn't garbage. But yeah, like, especially for being a computer musician, if you just sit in front of a screen all day and you don't have anything tactile, then it can be really annoying and very, like, it can get old pretty quickly. But if you're lucky enough to have some kind of hardware or something like that, like, it's kind of fun to just jam around. And then the other thing too is you can export this as a stem, and then from what I showed you way back when of doing at the Circus of Life, you know how you resample your beats and then you can do that? Well, then you can turn it into a full production. So anything that you make in this, like, you don't have to throw it away or think that it's hot garbage. You can be like, oh, I'm gonna make a really offbeat loop, like, hold on, something like, that's pretty swung. And so once you have that and you stretch it out and you start doing like your pitching and effects to it, like, you can turn that into something really cool. Or even just getting a bunch of like effects and stuff and like just making percussive loops can be really freaking fun. So I would highly recommend just, you know, getting into something like that and having a good time, because I think that you'll enjoy it. Especially if you have the interface and you've got, you know, something that you can bang on, or if it's something that you have to plug into the computer, then you can just drag all your samples in. That's why I actually got an MPC Live, is because it's running on battery right now, so there's nothing plugged in other than this external speaker. But that's kind of the whole point. And I really enjoy doing this when it works. Sometimes it doesn't work. Like, sometimes I'll get really caught up in the sound design, which is what I did. Like, I designed like not anything elaborate, but hold on one second. This bass in particular. Sorry. I have like this plug-in on here that is an FM synth, but it's not like anything super special. It takes a long time to get things going, but once it does, it's kind of gratifying, right? Because you're like, oh yeah, I made something, and it's really cool, really simple, but really cool, and that's kind of the beauty of it. But yeah, let's run that back one more time, and then if you guys have any questions or anything, or I guess it's just you, then hit me up on hit me up on Facebook or come into the chat. And if anybody's watching this, I stream Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on YouTube where I do sound design. I make beats like this, but at higher quality, of course, because I'm on the computer and I'm much better at that. I do sound design tutorials. I do all those things, and so really I just have this awesome place that you can come in and be surrounded by music and make tunes and figure out how to make music, because that's what I do for a living now. So yeah, I made the beat. That's what today's objective was just to go on stream and make a beat. So yeah, let's talk on Facebook, or you can hit me up on a Discord call or something if you want to do more discussions and stuff. But yeah, thanks everybody. Hopefully you had fun with the show. Gonna bang on the NPC. Yeah, record it. Let me know what you do. Bye everybody else.